Hey, this is Sam Black with my first match with Blue-Red Reveler in Modern. I'm on the draw with a hand that's more or less exactly what I'm looking for, so it's an easy keep. Tapped Blood Crypt. Question is just what land to get, and I think it's very close between Mountain and Steam Vents. I'm gonna get Steam Vents just to be cautious about my mana. I don't think the life is gonna be a big deal since my hand is so aggressive. I'm pretty sure that I'm just gonna be the aggressor of this game. And since I have the two cantrips, I can imagine this playing out where, well, I guess I can imagine Manamorphose, Swift Spear, Lightning Bolt as my play next turn, and then if I had Mountain and didn't draw another land, I'd have two blue spells that I want to cast and only one blue mana on that following turn. Not sure how I feel about my opponent casting Thoughtseize. I think it's mostly pretty good for me. My cards are relatively interchangeable, and oh well. Thoughtseize plus Lightning Bolt to take care of all my threats is definitely bad for me. I think I just want to spend this turn trying to draw into something. So I'm gonna Manamorphose for blue. And then I'm going to Thought Scour myself and then Serum Visions. The reason is that I want as much information on my scry as possible, and I don't care about drawing the card that I scry into. So if I Thought Scour after Serum Visions to draw the card that I Serum Visions for, I have to Thought Scour my opponent, which I don't want to do because I want to fill my graveyard. So I want to cast Thought Scour before Serum Visions. If I'm casting Thought Scour before Serum Visions, I don't care what I draw. I don't care if I draw the card right now because whatever I scry to will be on top of my deck and go to my hand next turn, which is actually better against my opponent's discard. I don't want to Serum Visions and then Sleight of Hand because that's minimizing the value of Sleight of Hand. It's basically turning look at 2, choose 1 into draw at 1 because I'll know the card that I want, theoretically. Sleight of Hand has the most immediate payoff, so I want to cast it later when I have more information about what I need. So the best play is to start by Thought Scouring myself, and then to cast Serum Visions so that I can scry to a card that I want to draw next turn. And now I need to evaluate what I want in light of this hand. I don't think that I want Faithless Looting. My hand has a lot of action. And the Steam Vents is a more interesting question. I think that if I want a land, I'll be able to find it with the Sleight of Hands and Manamorphose. I definitely don't want to draw too many lands here, and I'm worried about having these Lightning Bolts as dead ends, especially if I don't have the Faithless Looting to get rid of them. So I think I'm just going to bottom both of these. I'm really just looking for a threat payoff type card. Termwave is not great for me. I think I'm on Manamorphose for blue again. Could have gone for double bolting the Tarmogoyf, but I don't think that that is right. I think that I'm going to Sleight of Hand before playing the Scalding Tarn to get more information about what land I want to search for. I'm going to take the Probe over the Visions here because I'm trying to cycle through cards as fast as possible to turn on Visions of Beyond. Now I'm going to cast the Probe in case I draw Pyromancer Ascension, which I might want to cast right away. I'm going to pay life to do it. So my opponent has Abrupt Decay, which is pretty annoying, Dark Confidant, and Grim Flare. So the Dark Confidant I can easily bolt, but this lets me know that saving the bolts for these creatures is a consideration, rather than using both of them on Tarmogoyf. And Bedlam Reveler is a very good draw. So now I'm going to Sleight of Hand again, and I don't really want to... This is tricky, actually. I think I'm going to take the Probe and play Scalding Tarn and pass. And the reason for that is basically just about efficiently using my mana and not losing too much life in the face of this Tarmogoyf. Well, that's not good for me. So these Tarmogoyfs are not technically lethal right now, but if I spend much mana, they could become, or if I spend much life, they become lethal. I definitely want to have double red. Question is whether I can use my cards before playing Bedlam Reveler, and whether I care about doing that. It's possible that my play here is going to be to double bolt a Goyf. So now the question is basically whether I want to pay life to Visions right now, and I think I don't. I think it's still possible that I'm going to use Visions as a draw 3 despite this Bedlam Reveler. Oh, that helps with that plan. But for that to work, alright, so I have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Very, very close to being able to Visions. I think I start by Thought Scouring myself. And obviously I could Faithless Looting Vision. I think now I just kill a Goyf, which will give my opponent Delirium for Grim Flare, which isn't great, but this gets my hand down. Wondering if I want to probe to try to draw a land. I think I do. I think hitting a land drop is actually pretty important. I should have done this earlier, but it isn't going to change anything. Alright, did not hit a land. So now my opponent's going to present a second lethal threat. I don't think I like my chances this game. I wonder if I just have to cast Bedlam Reveler here, which doesn't feel good, but I don't really know how I win if I spend more mana. Wonder if my play last turn was wrong. In light of what's happening here, it probably was. So now I need to draw a land. No, I'm basically just dead. The best I can do is draw a mountain and play Swift Spear, and then my opponent just abrupt decays and attacks with both. Alright, I'm dead. Cast a lot of spells, but without the Swift Spears, it was not effective enough. So I definitely want Harvest Pyre to answer Tarmogoyf. And Faithless Looting is generally the first thing that I trim, especially in a more attrition-based matchup. Then the question is things like Spell Pierce and Thing in the Ice, and I think I don't want either of them. I think Spell Pierce, I think my opponent's creatures and abrupt decays are too important for Spell Pierce to be what I want to be doing. And I think Thing in the Ice also has a pretty big abrupt decay problem and a problem with not matching up super well against my opponent's creatures, but I wonder if it has less of an abrupt decay problem than Pyromancer Ascension. It's close. But I think my opponent has more other ways to deal with it, and I think it's less powerful. I'm just going to go this way. I'll keep this. My opponent is down to 5 cards. I'm going to lead Steam Vents because I'm pretty sure I'm going to want all my lands to be untapped, which means this is definitely going to do 2 damage to me, whereas the Scalding Tarn may or may not later. Also, this just gives me the most flexible mana early. I'm going to play Swift Spear. Now, there's actually a question about whether I want to probe for an extra damage or save probe to potentially trigger Pyromancer Ascension after I Thought Scour. And I think it's fine to just save it. Like, I'm probably going to get the 1 damage eventually. I guess I don't if my opponent kills my creature, but it's not that big of a deal. And obviously I couldn't use whatever card I drew. So now I'm just going to play Pyromancer Ascension and attack. If I were more mana heavy than I am, I'd be more interested in sacrificing Scalding Tarn early to thin my deck. As is, I'm more interested in waiting to figure out which land I want to fetch with it. Also, if it were a matchup where my life total didn't matter at all, I would just sacrifice it immediately to get Steam Vents. But since my life total can matter, I think it's important to actually plan which land I'm getting. Okay, so I could start with Manamorphose, but that's the most powerful card to copy with Pyromancer Ascension, so I'd like to try to turn it on first if I can. And also Thought Scour can just make other things turn on Ascension, so I'm going to lead with Thought Scour. But I do want to sacrifice this land first. I think since my opponent didn't play a 2-mana creature, I can just get Steam Vents here. Mountain would probably be fine, especially because of the Manamorphose, but I do have a lot of blue spells. I'm going to go with the Steam Vents, but it's not clearly correct. I'm going to Thought Scour myself. I drew another Thought Scour, so cast that, get a counter, and ideally mill one of these two so that I can turn on Ascension. Sleight of Hand. Alright, so that didn't work out. Don't really want to use Faithless Looting right now because my hand is good. Let's just pay life to probe. My opponent terminates my Swift Spear. That's fine. Liliana, Goyf, 2 lands. Alright, so my Pyromancer Ascension looks to be safe. That's a big deal. Okay, and I can turn it on with Manamorphose. Which isn't the optimal way to turn it on, but is good enough. I could Faithless Looting, but I think it's best to just pass here. Since my hand is good, I could, end up with a Manamorphose in the graveyard, but Manamorphose will put itself in the graveyard just fine. Plus, this way I could have discarded the Manamorphose if my opponent played Liliana. The Faithless Looting, rather. Okay, so Serum Visions is not already in my graveyard. Otherwise, I would lead with that, because I really would like to be able to copy a Manamorphose, like a lot. I almost wonder if it's worth Faithless Looting first to try to turn on doubling Manamorphose, and I actually think it is. I don't think I need a second Pyromancer Ascension. But I am definitely interested in Harvest Pyre, which I guess plays pretty awkwardly with Visions Beyond. Maybe I just discard that, but no. I think I want the cards in my hand more than I want a random card, so I'm just going to discard Manamorphose. And now I'll cast Manamorphose. For blue, red, I'm going to try to Serum Visions into a land and then Harvest Pyre. Or I could just probe first. Let's get some yields going. Drew a land. I can sacrifice this for an island. I'd like to preserve my life total at this point. And I guess I might as well cast Serum Visions. Don't need Faithless Looting, do want Lightning Bolt. Don't want Mountain. Still think I want Lightning Bolt. So now I don't need to Harvest Pyre. I can just Bolt Goyf twice. Which gets me toward draw 6 off Visions Beyond. Actually, both of these look good. Abrupt Decay that, which is actually fine. I have enough value. Should be able to win this with the Swift Spear and the Reveler and the Ancestral Recall. I guess I'll just get 2 red. Faithless Looting. Discard Reveler and Another Swift Spear, cast a Sleight of Hand. And attack for 7. And then I can just bolt my opponent twice and attack. Alright, that went well. Don't need to change anything. Don't think I want to change anything. Oh, Liliana is much better against Thing in the Ice than it is against Pyromancer Ascension. That's a reason to not use Thing in the Ice. This hand is fine. Could be better, but it'll work fine. Its problem is obviously not having a threat. So I'm going to lead with Probe to try to find a Swift Spear here. Alright, well, threats are going to be hard to stick. So fortunately, my opponent's threat is Grimflare, which I can kill with Bolt, and then we're just going to be... My opponent will have answers, and I'll be getting through my deck and trying to find Reveler, which should be difficult to beat from where my opponent's at. I think I just pass here. I can Bolt Flare if my opponent plays it, or I can just Thought Scour myself, hope to draw a land. Actually, I don't think I want to Bolt the Flare. I think I want to Thought Scour first to maximize my odds of hitting a land. Perfect. So now I'm going to play Mountain, Lightning Bolt this thing, and Sleight of Hand, and just hold on to my Metamorphosis for right now, which could be wrong, but I don't think I want Bolt, which means that I clicked on the wrong thing. I think I want Serum Visions. So as long as my opponent... The problem with Bolt is that it doesn't hedge well against my opponent playing Tarmogoyf, and as long as my opponent doesn't play a threat here, I think I'm in good shape. But the problem is that Bolt doesn't help if the threat's Goyf, which is the scariest threat anyway. I think I can handle some Abrupt Decays. Okay, so let's get this out of the way first. I'm just going to get an island. And I'm going to lead with Metamorphose for blue. And I'm going to scour myself. Serum Visions. Bottom, and I want this on top because I'm just trying to fill my graveyard for visions right now. So I'm going to I think I just pay life to probe. Scavenging Ooze and some decays. Okay. Sleight of hand. Have to take one of these. Pass the turn. Exiling 2 creatures to become a 4/4. It's reasonable, but it might let me turn on this Pyromancer Ascension. Or I could just harvest Pyre the Ooze, which might be even better. But let's see. Yeah, I can just Ascension, Manamorphose, which turns on the Ascension. Potentially get a bit of value from it, maybe. Let's see, I've only gone through one Lightning Bolt. I think I want to try to just find Lightning Bolt with Faithless Looting here. Discard Thought Scour and Thought Scour. Alright, that didn't work. I've played a land this turn. So I'll just cast Swift Spear and pass. This lets my opponent untap with Scavenging Ooze, but it's only kind of terrible for me. My opponent takes Visions of Beyond, which is pretty reasonable. I still haven't seen a Reveler, which is kind of a good sign about what's left in my deck. Okay, so I think my play here is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to play the Pyromancer Ascension. Mountain. Harvest Pyre this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and just to be safe, 5. Don't think there's any way that my opponent could kill this and activate this, and I don't think there are any other creatures in the graveyard, which is in case I miss something. Very low cost to go extra. I guess there is on other visions in my deck, but it's unlikely to be the top card. So I don't have a hand, but my deck is very live, since I'm probably going to untap with one of these non-land permanents in play. Tarmogoyf is a problem. Oh, do I get to untap with both of them? That's interesting. Little laggy. Man, that's close. I think I have to take probe. Nope, nope, nope. Do not want that. I'm gonna pay life. My opponent has disconnected. I really hope this is not a, like, leave in frustration. I certainly haven't won. I need to, if I just hit 2 lands here, I'm dead. Like, actually dead. My opponent just abruptly gaze my Swift Spear. I'm still very much holding on by a thread, but it's not a bad thread, as threads go. The lag is also a bit of an issue. I have a lot of things to click through if I'm going to win this game in 3.5 minutes. This matchup is informative. My card advantage is very powerful, but their answers to my threats are powerful. I think I can play a reasonable control game, but I need answers to their threats. More Harvest Pyres or Roast or Flame Slash or something in the sideboard would certainly help out this spot. Oh, that's kind of big game. Informs me that that was a battery issue. Wow. Do I want to draw a million cards like this? I think so. How many bolts are left? A lot? Yeah, okay. Come on. Didn't find Bolt, but Faithless Looting looks at a lot of cards. There's a Bolt. Let's discard a Reveler and a Swift Spear. Double Bolt Termaglyph.